Hey folks, it's Finn. In this week's upload, I wanted to talk a bit about an experience I had this weekend. On Sunday, I attended a cuddle party. Yes, you heard right, a cuddle party. You know me, I like to try all different sorts of new, strange, wonderful stuff. It's all about pushing the boundaries. You know, life begins at the end of your comfort zone. It's so true. So I was having a random Google search, other search engines are available, and came across this cuddle party meetup thingy. And the blurb was that it was about consensual touching and intimacy in a non-sexual sense. It was very much therapeutic, spiritually based intimacy with other conscious cuddlers. So I thought, gotta give that a go, right? So let's just cut to the chase and tell you how it was. Well, I almost chickened out before I even got there because I was just thinking, well, what am I doing? What on earth am I doing? Going to like cuddle random strangers, you know? I'm people anxious at the best of times, and now I'm gonna go and like hug them. But anyway, I got myself there. I knocked on the door and kind of said, am I in the right place? And I felt really awkward and weird, and like I was doing something naughty or something. It was really odd. And everyone was sort of talking to each other, and I just felt a bit clunky, and it felt like everyone knew each other, and I just felt so awkward. And in that moment, I almost bolted. But I sat, I made myself put my feet on the floor and just breathe. The two leaders, Kian and Katie, took us through to the space where the cuddle party was to happen. It was a really lovely space, actually, kind of nice soft lighting and gentle music and big foam mattresses everywhere and lots of cushions and throws. A really kind of comforting, welcoming space with artwork on the walls. I kind of made myself comfortable, sort of in the corner a bit, if I'm honest. My anxiety at this point is just like rising and rising, and honest to God, I've not been this close to a panic attack for a long, long time. This was proper fight or flight beginning to kick in, and it was taking everything I could do just to breathe and let the anxiety go. We did the initial thing you always do in groups, to go round and say why we're here and what have you, so that was a good opportunity for me to just name it and say, look, I'm absolutely terrified, I'm beyond nervous, this is terrifying. And that was really nice because everyone kind of laughed along with me and could relate, and it was apparent that not everybody knew each other, so I felt a bit better then. So then we went into the first half of the cuddle party, which was very much about the rules of cuddle party. One rule of cuddle party is you don't talk about cuddle party. No, it wasn't like that at all. It was just very, very boundaried. I was really impressed with how carefully they went over the rules, talking about what yes really means, what no really means, and that it's okay to say yes and it's okay to say no, and clothes always on, all of that. So that was kind of helping me to feel a little bit more relaxed until the first exercise. The first exercise was to pair up, and there happened to be a chap next to me, and what we had to do was spend a minute being A and B. And A would say to the other person, can I kiss you? And the idea was just to say no, so it was practicing saying no. So this guy had to look at me and keep going, can I kiss you, Finn? No. But can I kiss you, Finn? No. Finn, can I kiss you? No. So bizarre. And they said this was the worst bit. This is the hardest part of cuddle parties. I thought, okay, it's going to get easier from now. Oh no, it didn't. So then basically there was lots of different exercises. So you kind of have to move around the room and be with different people. So there was an exercise talking about what we thought our boundaries might be and where we wanted to go and where we didn't want to go, and just talking through things. And another exercise was about saying yes, and another exercise was about asking for stuff, and it was just, oh my God, it was just so awkward to kind of practice saying to people, can I stroke your arm, can I cuddle you, can I hold your hand, can I stroke your hair? It's just like, oh my God, this is just bizarre. Okay, so in the middle of this anxiety-provoking event, I'd suddenly realised as well that these lovely paintings on the wall, they're kind of that artwork where it's kind of brush strokes and you can't actually see what the painting is until you properly look. And suddenly I was aware that every single painting was willies and intimacy, and that in the corner was this giant wooden phallus. Anxiety, pew, again, you know, I'm thinking, oh my God, is this just some weird cult sexualized thing I'm getting myself into? It quite clearly isn't. It is absolutely above board. It's fine. It's just that I was just so anxious. Anyway, by the time we'd gone round and done all these exercises, I was feeling a lot calmer and a lot clearer that this was okay. This was just very different than what I'm used to, and in fact, I think what most humans are used to, so that's why it just felt so odd. And then the final part of the event is freestyle cuddling. Oh my god. You just make your way around the room and you just ask people if you want to do something to them, or ask if you want something to be done to you. Like, you can ask somebody for a cuddle or a stroke, or you can ask someone to rub your feet and people can come up to you and ask the same thing. Oh, at this point I'm just like, what am I doing? But I was so keen to try as well. You know, there was this huge desire to really do this, but at the same time this huge fear as well. So I kind of just sat there being a bit like, oh my god. But then a chap come up to me and said, can I put my head in your lap? And yep, go on then. So there am I with this chap's head in my lap, and I was brave enough to say, can I stroke your arm, stroke your shoulder? So I'm sat there with this man lying in my lap, stroking his arm. And then he got up and moved away, and there was a lady next to me, and she asked if I could give her hand a massage, so I did that. And actually, I was happy to do it, but at the same time, what I really wanted was the more intimate cuddles and stuff. I was kind of doing this hand rub, and then she asked for a foot rub, and I did that. And although it was a definite yes, I wanted to. While I was sitting there, I was kind of looking around the room, thinking, but what I really want to do is be really brave and like snuggle into someone. So eventually, I plucked up the courage to crawl over to this chap, and I just said, "Can I cuddle in next to you and put my arm on your shoulder and my arm across you?" And he said yes, and we cuddled there for a good 5 or 10 minutes, and it felt absolutely amazing. And then I gave this other guy that came up to me and asked me if I could stroke him from head to foot, so I did a bit of that. And then I went and spooned with 4 people. And then we had like a puppy pile with lots of people all piled in together cuddling. Can you believe I did this? But it was fantastic. At the end of it, when they said that cuddle time was finished, I was quite disappointed. We all set up to have a last share together, and I was so aware of how much I wanted to keep cuddling, and actually my instinct was saying to ask this chap next to me if I could just hold his hand or something, because I really just wanted that contact to continue. I felt like I'd only just started to get into my groove when cuddle time was over. So that was weird from in the beginning to being like this kind of, don't touch me, to at the end of being, everyone please hug me. You know, it was just such a strange change of head. So I think it's still settling and soaking into my psyche, this whole event. It's going to take a few days to process. It's really shifted something, and I was so amazed at my ability to manage my anxiety and to do this. I mean, I thought I would go and have some cuddles, but I didn't think I would get as intimate as I did with stroking and all of that. I was really quite impressed with myself, and I can't wait to go back. The anxiety has not gone around it, but I feel like I only scratched the surface, and so I cannot wait to go to another one and be a little bit braver in what I ask for and what I ask people to do to me. You know, let's calm down a minute and be serious about this, okay? I know I'm giggling or not, because it's just A, it's a very bizarre thing to do because we're not used to it in our culture, and B, it's a very bizarre thing for me to do because I have such a history of anxiety around people, and so to go from the shivering wreck in the corner that I once was to being a conscious cuddler is just such a leap for me. But this is how I work, you know, I get better by doing brave things, you know, you push your boundaries and then you grow from that. You don't grow stuck in a small pot. You have to get into a larger pot, be a bit afraid of that room for a while, and then you grow into it, and so forth and so forth. I've since discovered that there's a whole therapeutic background to it and a whole spiritual basis to it, which is amazing. Do you know, it's funny how, well, it's not funny, it happens all the time. My higher power brings into my life exactly what I need. Random search on Google, and this is what I find. And it's quite clear that this is a whole new world of opportunity that's going to be so good for my own personal growth. The 2 biggest things I'm working with at the moment are my embodiment. Being in this new body with all the right body parts is incredible, and I've not had any chance to explore that other than on my own. I've not really had any chance with other people. You know, I'm single now. And that's the other thing I'm trying to work out, is where my sexuality lies. And it's not so much that I'm bothered about whether I'm attracted to men or women. I think I'm quite happy with just being attracted. But at the same time, I want to know what it feels like to be intimate and close with people of all genders. I'm a very deep, connected person, so there's no way I would do one-off relationships. I'm not doing one-night stands. That's just not me, and I don't want a relationship anyway. But what I do want is to explore how my body feels in proximity to others, to explore how it feels to be touched and to touch others, and to have a level of intimacy that I would otherwise be missing as a single man. And here is a cuddle party, and here is a regular meetup every month to do this. Already I noticed that on Sunday night my instincts were pulling me towards men. Now, whether that's because it is a very new thing for me and I'm just trying that out, or whether that is showing me that there's a big attraction there, I'm not sure. There were some lovely women there. There was one girl I was quite drawn towards, but we didn't end up cuddling. But it was the men I was most curious towards heading towards, and to lie with another man in the way that I did was just wonderful. So, wow. What an amazing, amazing thing to experience. An amazing opportunity. I do feel like this massive door has opened that's going to allow me to explore this. What a wonderful tool. You know, here I am as a kind of newly, almost cooked trans man, single, with this amazing opportunity in a safe space to explore myself. So as terrifying as it sounds, I would really recommend this to anyone, because it's also going to be so healing. I have a lot of damage that I've done to myself, really, through having poor sexual relationships in the past. You know, saying yes when I shouldn't have said yes, and doing things because I thought I should, and forcing myself to be straight for so long, and then still not feeling right with women, but that was because I was actually a bloke. All of that is so messed up in my head that on top of being new in this body, the background issues I've had will feed into my sex life. They always have done. So I think this is a great opportunity for healing. Really, really wonderful. And I can't wait for the next one. And I think this is going to bring some very interesting vlogs our way. So what are your thoughts, people? Have you ever done a cuddle party? Would you like to do a cuddle party? Have you got any questions about what happened at this cuddle party? If you have, please, as always, do drop them in the comments below. It's always lovely to hear from you. Right, so that's it from me this week. If you like what you say, please do feel free to subscribe. If you want to chat to me, you can come over and join the community page where there's lots of conversation and extra videos. You can find that over here. And you can also check out all of my recent content. Thank you for watching, everybody. Have yourselves a great week and weekend, and I will see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.